comes to no surprise that fashion is the second most polluting industry in the world, with trends that last a few short months and clothing that lasts for an even shorter amount of time. According to Dr. Dee Duffy, a professor of retail and service management at CU Dublin, it takes 10,000 liters of water to make one pair of jeans. Multiply this by the millions of articles of clothing made daily, and we have a recipe for disaster. Zayang Long of the University of Wisconsin and Javad Mastery of McGill University write that, and I quote, "Nearly 3/5 of all clothing ends up in landfills or incinerators within a year of being produced." How does this affect us? The Irish government declared a climate emergency back in April 2020 due in part to fast fashion production. They proceeded to launch their Climate Action Plan, which Duffy aims to hit carbon emission targets by 2030 and neutrality by 2050. The consequences of fast fashion are becoming more and more prevalent in day-to-day life, so we must beg the question, what can we do about it? Let me give you a short and simple solution to that question. Buy sustainably. But to understand how to prevent the growth of the fast fashion industry, it is imperative to understand its beginnings. Put simply, fast fashion is destroying the environment one cheap t-shirt at a time. At its core, fast fashion is an industry designed to keep up with constantly changing trends. Long and Mastery write that fast fashion brands rely on a quick response production system to replenish industry of the hit styles and introduce new ones. When a certain style of clothing loses its popularity, it may go on clearance for a season, but usually anything that isn't sold is just thrown away. Because fast fashion relies on keeping up with the trends, items are made to be disposable. Not only are the products cheap, but they're typically made in very bad work conditions. Large fast fashion labels such as H&M and Forever 21 rely on outsourced labor and often underpay their overseas employees. Fast fashion is a relatively new concept, though, as it emerged after the Industrial Revolution in late 17th century Britain. According to Annie Radler Linden, a senior who researched the fast fashion industry for a senior project, the role of slop shop stores in urbanization altered the British consumer preferences, which resulted in them no longer wanting to make their own clothes, causing a large shift from cottage labor to factory labor. Over time, the consumer became more demanding and the trends began to move faster. Today, the fashion industry is a massive part of the global economy, and it has allowed less developed countries to rapidly progress and catch up with the rest of the world. But at what cost? While since developing the fast fashion industry has provided for rapidly changing trends, there are other ways to be stylish with a much smaller impact on the environment. The best way to prevent unnecessary waste created by the fast fashion industry is to invest in sustainable fashion. One way to invest in sustainable fashion is to buy investment pieces, which are designed to be timeless and high quality to prevent the consumer from rebuying similar pieces multiple times. Purchasing investment pieces allows for the customer to buy articles of clothing that don't rely on trends, and thus last far longer than a typical fashion piece. An example of an investment piece may be a high-quality pair of jeans. And it may seem like a lot to spend up to $250 on a pair of jeans, but they will last you up to 10 years. And the average customer can spend up to $800 on jeans in that amount of time. Additionally, it makes it much easier for the consumer to get dressed in the morning. Most investment pieces are simple and timeless, and they can be dressed up or down to match the occasion. Having a smaller selection of easy-to-wear clothing is not only sustainable, but also improves our morning routines. Another way to be sustainable is to support small businesses, as they typically produce less waste than large commercial companies. And large companies often rely on sweatshop labor and overbuy materials for their projects. This creates both inhumane labor practices and excess waste for production. Most small businesses are local operations and are more conscious of the materials that they use and throw away. Supporting these businesses instead of large brands allows for small business owners to thrive and can often cause a reform in some fast fashion companies. Investing in small companies can also make the consumer have a very unique wardrobe. Most people worry that by investing in sustainable fashion, they are giving up some of their individuality. But this is not the case at all when supporting small and often quirky businesses. The ways we can help are simple and the future is bright, but if we don't put work into sustainable fashion, we could be setting ourselves up for a doomed future. As I said earlier, Ireland was forced to declare a climate emergency due in part to fast fashion production. Fashion is the second most polluting industry in the world and often utilizes some of the most inhumane practices. If we allow this trend to continue, it is likely that we'll see an increase in air and water pollution. Additionally, the use of inhumane labor practices has plagued the world for decades, and I don't know about you, but I would love for that to become a thing of the past. If we move forward with these practices, it will become harder and harder for less developed countries to catch up with the rest of the world as they are only exporting and never importing. The possibilities are really endless. If we decide to make the switch to sustainable fashion, there will be many positive changes in both the environment and the industry. By eliminating some of the waste created by production, we can reduce our environmental footprint significantly. It is also possible that large brands see this shift as a time to reform their labor practices to become more sustainable. When we all support small businesses, not only are we moving money through our local economy and investing in sustainable fashion, we are also allowing small designers to create and find their place in the industry. Oftentimes, these businesses are more likely to donate money to go towards a greener planet. With our planet becoming more and more polluted every day, you and I as consumers are forced to make a very conscious decision on who we are buying clothing from. Whether we like it or not, the future of fashion is sustainable. We cannot afford to keep putting our planet in harm's way to simply provide for trends. After today, please try to think twice before buying that trendy t-shirt. Remember that by investing in more sustainable wardrobe, you are doing your part in reducing pollution and inhumane labor practices.